Hello everyone! Welcome back to our channel. It is a new year. I'm so excited to be back with a new video. I'm in the process of editing all of the footage that we took from our trip back to the States over the last 3 weeks. Whatever that turns out to be will be here. You can go check that out. Anyways, we're just so happy to be back in Berlin and back to our normal schedule, but we had an amazing trip back to the States visiting with our family and our friends. It was super hard to leave and yeah, just all around a very bittersweet feeling coming home. I thought I'd start out this video with a little bit of a chatty update about how it went, and I wanted to share with you some things that I brought back from the States. So, first of all, it was our first trip back, and I think I've said this on this channel before, but I lived in Belgium for a year as a high school student, and so before we even moved to Germany, I had already kind of had my own experience with living abroad and had some like preconceived ideas about what to expect and what it would be like. Some of the things that I experienced in Belgium and the emotions that I felt turned out to be similar, but a lot of things have also been really different because obviously I'm experiencing this move to Germany as an adult. I'm not living with a host family, like there's a lot of things that are different. That was kind of the same with our trip back to the States. Like I had returned to my home in the US after living abroad for a year before, but when I returned from Belgium, it was totally different because I was returning 100%. Like I was coming home, I was not gonna be going back to Belgium. I left my entire life in Belgium behind and I was mourning that. I was really sad to be separated from the friends that I made and my host families, but I also was reunited with my biological family and, you know, the real lifeness of being back to my life in the US. I started going to college and like all kinds of exciting things were happening. Josh had not experienced that before at all. So all of that to say that we didn't really know what to expect from visiting home for the first time. Overall, I just keep coming back to the word bittersweet because that's truly what it was. We were so overwhelmingly happy to be reunited with our families, and I also feel like I was able to really connect with my family on a deeper level during this trip and just reestablish our relationships in a different and like deeper way now that me and my brother are both adults. Of course, it was also difficult because we were both very cognizant of the fact that we were leaving again, and it was just really hard to kind of have that in the back of your mind. So we were both like overjoyed to be home, but also like already sad thinking about the fact that we had to leave. But then as the trip went on, I definitely, and I think Josh as well, started to feel more and more of a like desire to be home. Like we have designed our space and our life in a way that works best for us. And so it was kind of eye-opening for us to realize that that is actually super important to us and that we have that here in Berlin, and that's kind of cool. The opportunity to visit home really opened my eyes to how important it is to us, this life that we built in Berlin, and how much we do love it, which made coming home here to Berlin that much more exciting. But then also really reinforced for us how important our relationships with our family members are and how we don't want to be away from them forever. I also wanted to talk about how our travel was. We flew Iceland Air, both there and back. Unfortunately, it was not the best. I don't know if we just caught them on like 2 off days or what, but we just did not have a good experience on our flight to Seattle. If you've watched my visiting home vlog, you'll have already seen this, but we almost missed our flight leaving Berlin because the check-in line was so long. But we were not the only ones. There was also a lot of other people who almost missed the flight, and so the flight was actually delayed by, I think it was like 1 or 2 hours. I can't remember exactly how much. Just as they were like waiting for everybody to get on the plane. And the reason for that was primarily Iceland Air's fault. Like they did not have enough staff moving people through the check-in line because they had to check everyone's COVID documents, and it just took forever. Our flight was delayed leaving Berlin, which meant we missed our connecting flight in Iceland. And so they were able to quickly rebook us on another flight leaving Reykjavik, just like a couple, like maybe an hour later than our original flight was going to. So we literally like got off the plane in Iceland and then got on the next plane, all within a span of like 20 minutes, which was great because we still got to Seattle pretty much around the same time. We were like an hour late or whatever, but it was like not a big difference. But the downside was that because we changed planes so quickly, our baggage did not make it onto our connecting flight. So when we got to Seattle, we didn't have our checked luggage. Thankfully, we had our carry-ons, which I had packed a little bit of extra clothing and stuff in, but we didn't have any of our toiletries or any of that kind of stuff. We waited 2 days, finally got our checked baggage. Josh had to go all the way back to the airport to pick it up. And then on our way back, more or less the same thing happened. So this time we got to the airport super, super early, leaving Seattle, and we actually didn't have any trouble getting through check-in and security. There was like, it was just very streamlined. But then our flight was still delayed for an hour. There was some kind of mechanical issue and they like had to check it out, and then yeah, so we missed our connecting flight in Reykjavik again, and this time there were no more flights out of Reykjavik to Berlin that day. So we had to wait 5 hours in the Iceland airport, and then they got us on a flight from Iceland to Frankfurt, which was 3.5 hours, and then we waited in Frankfurt, and then one more flight from Frankfurt to Berlin, which was super fast, like 1 hour flight, and we finally made it to Berlin a little after midnight. We were supposed to get to Berlin at like noon, so very different arrival time. I think one thing I've learned from this trip is that if we're able to afford it next time that we fly, like we probably could have this time, but I'm so used to booking like the cheapest flight. Like flights are not something that I want to spend extra money on. I've never really understood why people fork out so much cash to like fly first class and stuff. But next time I want to pay more attention to the amount of time that we have for changing planes, because an hour and a half is just not enough time. I also want to make sure that the plane is like the big, I don't know what the actual like type of plane is, but you know the planes that have, I think it's like 3 seats, 3 seats, 3 seats, like there's a middle row of seats also. I want to get on those kind of planes. There's just more space. There's oftentimes extra space, so you can have multiple seats to yourself. I'm not sure I'd fly Iceland Air again. Ideally would have a layover at like a larger airport, so if we did miss our flight, there'd be more connecting flights that we could potentially get on. So those are some things that I will look into for next time. I thought something else that might be interesting to show you is the things that we brought back from the States with us. Basically like food and other items that we can't purchase here, and then some other items that I got out of our storage unit, although there's not that many of those things. I did actually like pack up a box of things that I will have my mom send to us, but for now I just brought a couple little things in our suitcases. So first, for the stuff that we can't buy here, I would eat this every day. Another cheese related item, Cheez-Its. The white cheddar is the best. Seems to be a theme here. Some goldfish, although I feel like they got pretty smashed. These are so good. They're a snack for children, I know, but like, I love them. You already know I got 500 boxes. Just kidding, I got 5. Of the Harvest Blend tea. We brought some Cholula sauce. This is primarily for Josh. He loves this stuff. Peanut butter. A couple Chick-fil-A sauce, which were left over from our Chick-fil-A run. Bought a bunch of these native deodorants. These are just like my absolute favorite natural deodorant, and they actually used to ship them to Europe, I found, but right now they're like reevaluating their shipping or whatever, and so they don't ship to Europe right now. But once they do, I will again order them. My favorite scent is the eucalyptus and mint. I also got Burt's Bees. You actually might be able to buy this in Germany, but I have not seen it anywhere. And then some of the stuff we brought from storage. I brought a couple of our coffee mugs. This is one of my favorites. It's a Le Creuset. This little Pampered Chef chopper thingy. It's amazing. I brought some like organizer cube things. This last thing is something I got for Christmas from my mom. I feel like it's such a good gift for like if you know someone who lives abroad, or you are someone who lives abroad, you can put it on your wish list or whatever. It's one of these homesick candles. So this one is for Washington State, obviously, because that's where we're from. And it says it smells like soft downpours familiar to the Pacific Northwest, carrying notes of Earl Grey tea and mild hints of forest, maple, vanilla, and a bouquet of flowers. It actually, my brother is skeptical, but I think it actually smells like Washington. I don't know what it is. So anyways, I'm super excited about this. What else? I think I've already put a couple things away. This is one of the other things that I brought from storage. It's just this little Free People rug. And then the other thing is this little throw pillow that I was able to cram in our suitcase.
We have here being
a fleet of flip-off felines. I did it. Fleet of flip-off felines. Fleet of flip-off felines.
a fleet of flip-off felines. A fleet of flip-off felines.
Nice.
Hello. We found a cat cafe.
You gotta come here, babe. Oh my gosh, there's a yellow one back
a host of cats in this cat cafe, and no humans, it would seem. Which hood we in, bub?
Charlottenburg, I think.
Yep. Usually it's a wealth of silly puns, but every once in a while, Berlin marketing hits the deep truth. And here we have a lovely little multifaceted section of Mitte. I don't know why, but I just love these little birds.
So I think that's pretty much all I wanted to share with you guys for today. I've gotten questions related to visas and finding an apartment, finding work, all that kind of stuff. I'd be happy to do a sit-down question answering video dedicated to that kind of thing if you want to know more about that. So definitely leave a comment down below if that interests you and I can share what our experience has been. Otherwise, there will be many more life in Berlin vlogs coming, and make sure that you watch our vlogs of our visit back to the States. Follow our channel, turn on the notifications, and like this video if you want to see more like it. And thank you so much for watching. We love you guys. Bye.